Good evening, everyone. It's your girl, Sweetly. I'm going to be joined with Christella very, very shortly. We're doing a Let the Youth Live special this evening. We're absolutely devastated that 3 young people have lost their lives this week. So we're going to talk about this tonight, talk about more solutions. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Lauren, do you want a request? Oh, you have? Okay, let me do it. Okay, I'm going to accept it now. Yeah, thank you for joining me, everyone. Shout out to Mr. Unique Voice. How you doing? Shout out Sunny Graphics. Hi, Laws. I was going to say, you can bring that in here if you want. Shout out to Darren as well. Oh, that's going to be no good. Can you turn that down? I can't hear it. Yeah. Shout out to Neil. Shout out Queen J. Big up, everyone. Shout out Chief Rocks. Yeah, Christella should be with us very, very soon. Right, there she is. Right, I'm just going to add her up. Hi, Mr. Hugh Hefner. I can hear that repeating, Lol. That phone. Right, just adding up Christella now. Lauren, could you turn that phone down? Because it's repeating. Oh. Right, might have to go off then. Right, I'm just going to accept Christella. Hi, Sunny. Christella can't get on. Right, let's try again. Right, hopefully we'll be able to connect. That might have to, yeah, I think you'll have to, just somewhere.
Hi.
Hi, my darling.
You all right?
Yes. Good to see you, my darling.
Oh my God, I know. How am I sorting this thing out now?
Yeah, I think, because I can't. On the windows. Okay. It was just because I was hearing it repeating.
Oh!
Yay! Good to see you, darling.
And you, how are you, babes? What is this?
I'm good, but heartbroken. I can hear that. Sorry, Lol, can you take that out of the room for me? Yeah, can hear the other phone echoing back. It drives me mad. But yeah, absolutely devastated, heartbroken. So many young people murdered this week.
Me, it's ridiculous. I had enough of it. I don't understand how we've gotten so far, yet there's so much that's still being ignored. You know?
This is what I don't get.
Yeah, it's really difficult, especially I think because a lot of it's got to be down to the one thing that, you know, we don't have control of at the moment, and that's the law.
We need law changes, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm constantly banging on to people that they, you know, if they want changes, they have to contact their MPs. They have to, you know, try and get the MPs to talk in Parliament about this. Ask your local MPs, what are they doing?
It's real. I mean, a 12-year-old girl got stabbed to death by a group of young boys, and I believe it was daylight.
Yeah. And you know what I found out as well? All that she had done, they didn't like the way she looked at them. Christella.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So people are losing their lives for stupidness. For what? So a 12-year-old girl, you don't like how a 12-year-old girl looks at you? Come here and let me look at you then.
I mean, what is going on, Christella? Like, you know, like the mindset of some of the young people, well, it's not even just the young people with knives, is it? Realistically, it seems to be all ages using knives. It's like a new lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, violence is glorified everywhere. Wherever we look, it's glorified. And I think with young people, we all know that their development is still in process. We know that they're the most vulnerable. We know they're easy to target. We know that predators are going to use and abuse them. And half the time it's going to go unspoken of because, you know, they're still growing and learning about themselves. So every single image that you see as a young person is over-sexualized and over-violence. So constantly they're up against the battle of finding themselves, what they're up against, what's supposed to be cool, what's not supposed to be good. It's like, it's got to stop.
It definitely has to stop. Like, I just don't grasp, you know, like, I know there's some people out there who are, you know, trying to do things, and then there's quite a big percentage out there who seem to be waiting till it comes to their door. But we keep saying this, don't wait till it's your child, your family. This is something that it's affecting everybody.
But even when it gets to the point of it being someone they affect, it still doesn't make enough noise for people to want to take notice.
I mean, look how many marches there's been. Look how many, you know, there's been all sorts, like March, we did the Your City Says No years ago. We had 45 cities and towns out. Nothing happened. Like, what is it going to take? Even I mean, think of like the Freedom March, for example. Was there nearly 1 million people?
When
Did
was
it change? Good few months ago. And you couldn't get more people at some kind of protest, but it didn't change any law.
No, and it's like it's at this point, it's like it doesn't matter what we say, what we do. This has been the highest year of knife crime amongst young people. It's surpassed the record.
And that, I mean, that was bad enough. Like, exactly. To be how many years on, and it's now even more. I mean, we've got, you know, one solution out of the many that we have, the bleed control cabinets and kits. I mean, I was horrified to find out another child has died in Croydon. And there's still no bleed control cabinet up there or kit right on that road. That road, lots of young people have lost their lives there.
And this is the other thing. The kit's such an important piece of, you know, equipment, and it's so validated for what we're trying to do as a community. A community is not just about your postcode, yeah? A community is about coming together to make change.
It's my baby there.
Aww.
Hey, Ramai. You say hello.
Hi.
Hey. Love you.
Hello.
Good to see you. Oh, yes, aren't you? And this is the thing. Like, I want to make change for his future, you know, his children's future, the present, you know, because this is no life for children. There's no fun. You can't go to parties. You can't go to meet your friends.
Exactly. How are you supposed to even feel safe when potentially you're walking to school and, you know, someone's getting stabbed in front of you? How is that supposed to make you feel like you're going to achieve anything in your life?
I know. Right, bye. Love you. Bye. But it's true. On the way to school, after school. I was recently at a parents training session recently, and I was explaining to them that the murder hours are between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
And that some schools are recommending that children go straight home after school. They don't go to McDonald's, they don't go to the high street. And that's because other young people have lost their lives at that time in those areas.
Yeah. But what I don't understand is there's so many, you know, these schools, there's obviously the kids have parents or, you know, legal guardians, and I understand that there's a lot of kids that don't come from a family background, but talk amongst yourselves. Like, what is wrong with people?
Mm-hmm.
You're a teacher, for example, you're going to know about child exploitation, yeah, because that's part of your job. So why are they not having proper meetings rather about, yes, okay, what's going on with the children, but actually how to safeguard children in and outside of school?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
exactly.
there's not enough parents with that knowledge. They don't fully understand what exploitation is. They just, people see, you know, troubled young people, but they don't realize, hold on, this young person's probably been in how many trap houses, been raped how many times, has no support around them. So if you know that as a teacher, okay, there's got to be some kind of level, you know, or kind of responsibility where you educate parents.
Yeah. Well, they're starting to do it, right? Because this is why I've been on this parents training recently. I think it's fantastic that they've started doing it, but realistically, this should have been happening many years ago. This is like, I'm part of the first group. The first group of training for parents, and we're going to be training other parents. But this is something that's not only needed in secondary school, that we need parents being clued up and trained up for primary school. So I'm praying that this, you know, we do end up managing to do this. But it's like the kids now, they're kind of like, even my youngest, who's 15, like, there's been nothing in place for that age group, that generation. Nothing at all.
This is the thing, Sweets. And it's like they want to relook at how they're going to deliver sex education, or, you know, along those lines. But isn't surely exploitation part of that education?
Yeah, that's it, like, to keep them alive.
Right.
That's a life-saving education. And this is what I want to fight for, is certain things to be put into the school curriculum.
Exactly.
They can do it. The schools, if they want, they can put in whatever they want. So they're able to do it. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on, things like that, getting important things through to the kids. Because as far as I'm aware, they're not getting, you know, just things on healthy relationships, what they are, drugs awareness, child exploitation, what you were saying. So how have they, they've not got any knowledge to arm themselves to protect themselves.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I was just going to read a few of the messages.
I feel like...
Oh, you broke up there.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Right, I'll read a few of the messages here. Somebody said, Jar Model says, for the adults, no clubs, and parents don't have enough time to be a parent because of work. Parents start work at 8 and finish at 9. School starts at 9 o'clock. Peace and love movement. Big up to you. They're saying, we heard about an amazing school yesterday that keeps kids in school until 7. They get a meal and do homework there, and then leave and go home at 7. Wow.
Oh.
What school is that? I heard about a school that was talking about doing that, so we'd love to know what school that is, because that would be perfect for working parents, wouldn't it? Absolutely
Yeah.
perfect.
And this is it.
Jar
They know
Model's
that.
saying,
I was going to say they just know that
oh,
single parents or poorer parents, you know, are going to have these types of issues.
it's true. Jar Model's saying kids getting dropped off extra early at school for breakfast clubs, then after school, then the child gets independent, then the changes. He's saying in secondary school, kids' chance for the better or worst. Peace and Love Movement saying it's in a deprived area too, so they are supporting the community. All right, let's see who else we've got. Right, should we take someone up on the live? We've got Mr. Hugh Hefner. Did it take you up? Yeah? Right, let's get you up. Hugh.
Are you watching the live?
Hiya.
Hello.
I didn't expect to be on a live. I'm going to turn my camera off because my hair's a bit messy. So
That's all right, my darling. That's fine. Glad you could join us.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a few things about this because I know there's been an increase in knife crime. I've been watching and following a few things, and I've had quite an.
And I lost you there, darling.
Are getting more and more involved in county lines. They're getting involved in drug wars, postcode wars, gang issues, more so, and it stems a lot from trying to make money. Parents are really under pressure, and that is causing them to have a lot of these turf wars and problems. And parents don't have enough time. I agree with that comment because a lot of parents are.
Oh, we've lost you again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yep.
The government don't seem to be caring about that. So really, schools could have safer neighbourhood officers.
Yep, that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah, they could have them walking the kids to the. Yeah, they could have them walking the kids to the bus stops, and they could have them making sure they get on the bus safely. But where are the police? The police are doing they're trying to bring in money for their corporation. So it's all about the government care about money, the police care about money, and they don't care about people. Money. That's the main thing. That you see police in Brixton, South, like you see them in Peckham, you see them on London Bridge stopping cars to see if their tyre tread is high or low, so they can find people if the brake light is out. But then police could be outside schools making sure they're not being.
Yeah, they certainly could.
Being groomed, put into county lines. There's so many.
Exactly.
There's so much going on, and the government don't seem to care about it. They don't care about people. There's people trying to pimp young girls out. It's all about money. So. These are major problems, and that's why there's been such an increase during COVID.
It has increased. It definitely has increased. It's all out of hand, and you're perfectly right about the walking them to the bus stop, making sure they get on a bus safely.
Yeah, they could.
I don't see why they can't do that because they're investing so much money into, and especially the Met Police, into stop and search, right?
Yeah.
They're overdoing that, and they're not doing any of the safer neighbourhood patrolling, which they used to do that many years ago. Why did they stop?
But
they
all
should
schools,
never have stopped.
in my opinion, should have metal detectors. That's number one.
I've been saying that.
Yeah. We've got one. There is a school, one or two.
All schools should have metal detectors.
Exactly.
Yeah. All schools should have metal detectors, and all schools should have safer neighbourhood officers. So what they should do is have schools in particular areas, one of them finishing maybe starting earlier and finishing later, and sharing a safer neighbourhood two safer neighbourhood officers, making sure children are getting on the buses and for taxpayers.
I absolutely love that, and I am going to action that. Your idea there.
Taxpayers, the police are a corporation, and their main priority is to bring in money for the crown, and our priority is to make sure our children are safe, because there are children.
And we keep them alive.
Every time I have contact with the police, I say, do you understand that I'm a taxpayer and I pay your wages? You're a civil servant and you're here to protect and serve. You're not here to bring in money for the crown. You'll see hundreds of police all around London issuing penalties for COVID to someone sitting on a park bench when they should be at home. But you don't care that there's people trying to groom young children into county lines, kidnapping them because they're poor, they need to make money. There's stories of young girls being groomed, being used as grooming them into prostitution from an early age to make money. There is so much going on, and it's all stems from making money. All this gang culture, all this crime, all of it is about drugs and, all of these kind of gang wars. And that's mostly why people... someone else. But a lot of it, and a lot of the gang culture, is arguments over turf, land, and making money. It all stems from making money, and our police are not here to protect and serve us. That's the main problem. And our Prime Minister and our MPs, all they care about is their donors, who's donating money for them, and, being yes people for, people that have got money and corporations. And every day...
It's true.
They're not working for us. They're going to serve the people, and they're not. They're serving big, rich, billionaire, millionaire corporations where they can make money from and get donations. They don't care about us. They don't care about our children.
Well, I've been trying to get hold of my MP for the last 3 months. I haven't even had a reply.
Me too. Me too. My one is... Yeah, my one is in Boris Johnson's comment section every day. But so... But these are, this is just getting worse.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Everything you said, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. Baron Alex Paul, he's doing a lot of good work as well around knife crime, and he's I
know him really well.
Yeah, he does the whole kind of meeting young people, collecting the weapons, and really the government should be giving him a big, they should be funding projects like this. But where are they?
We had the vision to just set up what he's doing, but in every single borough. I mean, I've reached out to Farron, but I've not heard anything. But what he does, it's something that needs to be in every single borough, not just in London, the whole of the UK. How we are here. Whereabouts are you, darling? Whereabouts? What?
I'm in Hertfordshire now.
Right.
I used to live in Peckham.
Oh, that's where I am, Peckham. But even down there,
I moved my son because I just didn't want these same problems. And then you've got these Hertfordshire little silly boys, these little kind of country bumpkins, listening. You'll think you're safe down here. And then they're listening to all of this new, what is it, drill music, where they're talking about shanking this.
Chefing, shanking, and usually somebody's dead family that they're going to be doing it to. They've already murdered someone. It's absolutely disgusting.
And what they don't realise, all of these people that do stab someone, they need to look over their shoulder for the rest of their life. Even if they come out of prison, they're still not free. All of these gang members, they're not free. This is not a life that you glorify. And music has got a very big part to play.
Yeah. Well, we've spoken on this podcast many times, lots of people from the community, and they've spoken out about what is being promoted is not only, you know, in drill music, it's the actual mainstream radio stations that are pumping out them tracks, school run time, round and round, on repeat. Then you've got the big platforms as well that are pushing that narrative, promoting that lifestyle, making it look really good. You can get the money, you get the girls, you know what I mean? And they're backing it all up. I don't see any of them standing up and going, hang on a minute, it's about time we started doing a bit of, what was it, quality control on the music that's going out.
It should be banned. It should
and
be
also
banned.
social media. Social media has been one of the, everybody has commented over this year, social media. And we're determined to do something about it. We've got, there's law going through at the moment where they're going to be actually fining the online companies for 18% of their global income.
Who's they? Who's fining?
Well, the government, it's in Parliament.
I'm sure they'll like that. As long as they can make money out of it, they'll be.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not convinced. Yeah, what I've studied all the legislation. I'm not convinced that it's going to really help us.
I will volunteer. Look, I'll DM you after. But if there's anything I can help you to volunteer, I will.
We would love you on board.
Yeah.
Because we need, definitely in Hertfordshire, we want a bleed control cabinet down there. Definitely.
Yeah, I've seen them bleed control cabinets. I think it's good. But these young boys now, they're glorifying this nonsense music. When I hear it and I hear the lyrics, I get so angry. Yeah. And my son doesn't understand. He just thinks I'm moaning, and but it's, you see, when that is it's programming. All of these games, GTA, getting your knife out, getting your gun out, like
running people over. Yeah, I've seen, I swear to God, a lot of the viral videos I've seen, you know, with people out with the machetes and the running someone over in the petrol garage. It's like, hang on a minute, this is like GTA. Like, it's like looking at that in real life. And is that what's happened to that generation?
The thing is, you know, it's true, like, yeah, crime has always been on display, but technology hasn't always been around to display it to this level. So that's the other issue as well. You know?
Yeah, because it actually perpetuates it.
Right, exactly. And let's be honest, we used to play cockers back in the day.
Media, don't they?
Yeah, because it's
easy. On social media, if there's like someone stabs someone else and they put it on social media, now there's pressure to retaliate because it's now gone viral.
It's increasing the retaliations. That's definite, as well as the fear, you know, like that. Yeah, by showing certain things that puts people in fear, but definitely for retaliations, that's adding to a lot of it. Now, what I always wonder with social media, right? How many chances and opportunities or things are done on their platforms? At what point will they intervene? We had a young boy during lockdown, I think his name was Ollie Stevens, who was murdered, set up. There was 69,500 online bits of evidence, right? That included Snapchat, Instagram, messages, voice notes. That's like a lot of evidence that at no point the social media company, I mean, they can get involved. If I play a track on my radio show, within 30 seconds, they're on there telling me the thing's gone and you're on copyright. Yeah. So it's time that they are made accountable.
Or if you say anything about vaccines, because of course that's the pharmaceutical industry, but talk about
you do that, and instantly, they can find the content.
Are allowed to be online, like it's crazy.
Do you know what? I'm loving this because people are waking up. Like, look how I'm so proud of you two. Literally, because I'm seeing people being like, "Don't blame the game. Don't do this." Hold on, a 12-year-old girl lost her life for nothing.
For nothing.
12-year-old man.
We can't just turn our eye and do you know what I mean? And be like, oh, you know, oh well, that's life. Really?
This is more
Are we
children than we've ever
living in
lost in a
Perth?
year.
The schools have got a lot of big responsibility.
Yeah,
and
schools are
I
taking the
know
piss. I'm going to say this. They're taking the piss,
there's
schools.
no life skills being taught in schools. Like that, schools need to teach you about things like setting up your own company, taxes.
Yeah.
You know,
First aid as well, cooking.
Teaching you life skills, and they're not teaching them anything. Like they want to over sexualize children with all of these sex lessons. But what about weapons awareness?
Yeah.
What about grooming awareness?
Yeah. Stop and
This
search.
is what-
They need to fucking do stop
You
and
need to
search.
know
bloody
they need
things.
to know their rights as well.
Yeah.
Because they're being stopped by police. Police are beating up young people, but they're not there to protect them.
No, they don't feel protected. People in our communities do not feel protected at all. And this is what
Nobody
I keep
feels
saying. It's all
safe.
well and good, you know, getting opportunities and building, you know, youth clubs and what. But how are they going to keep our young people safe?
The government cut the funding for so much youth services and youth provision, all the provision as well around mental health. So a lot of these young people, especially ones that are dabbling with drugs and what have you, and that can impact on their mental health as well. People that may already have some kind of mental health and they can't tap into services. And as well, that during COVID has increased problems as well, because some of these young people that are becoming fanatical watching these, I don't know if you've seen some of these, I saw this video and it was this white boy and he had this massive Rambo and he had taken it out, that he was basically glorifying what he was going to do, and he went out and stabbed someone.
Oh my God.
And he
You
was
see?
This is what
the
we've got.
It was
This is
over a
what
girl.
we're finding is because of social media, it's like they're doing it to gain, you know what I mean? What do they call it when they, you know, like
Clout.
Yeah, that's it, clout. So I couldn't think of the words. But yeah, clout. And they're doing all sorts of stuff for clout.
It's ridiculous. And I say these things to my son, like all these things, PS5, these songs, none of it is real. It's not real. No. Like you forget it. You switch off your TV, you switch off your internet, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you see, who am I? What have I got? What have I achieved? You don't be online looking at what other people are doing and copying them, because they're doing rubbish.
And there was so much rubbish going on. Like, it's shocking.
This
but also a lot of
it
peer pressure.
The sales of knives over Snapchat. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. This is we'd spoken about that. You can buy a knife for £1, but and again, it's peer pressure. It's, you know, what people, as you was talking about, rightly so, exploitation. It's not just about county lines and running drugs. It's about, if you don't do this for me, I'm gonna rape your sister. I'm gonna kill your mum. I'm gonna kill your dad.
Yeah, and if you listen, because we actually, it was a set of lyrics that somebody had sent from Fumes, the engineer, with someone who was on his show. I read out the lyrics. Everybody was horrified. And this went viral.
Yeah.
It had, I don't know how many millions of views, and everyone's saying it's all cool and that. But we're listening to the lyrics and it was like, what? Hang on. This was about murdering somebody's aunt, their mum, their sister, raping the sister, like you say. Like,
exactly.
It's not acceptable. And
this is the real. This is real. This happens every day. It's not just the odd child. It's happening to more than it's not happening to.
But it's just the overall behaviour of young people in this day and age. This culture now is disrespecting women. You've got boys watching all of these rap songs about girls as bitches. They're half naked. It's like they're disrespecting people, they're disrespecting women. It's just the whole programming in their brain is wrong. They're being wired wrong.
Yeah. Well, I read. Do you see the lady who was whistleblowing for Facebook, and she was all in recently?
Yeah,
she's blown the whistle on all the research.
Yeah.
Now it was proven, and Facebook proved it, that young girls basically they've rewired young people, right? So literally where our kids used to go out and socialise with their friends, it's now the norm is that they're at home on their phone socialising. So they're not going to people's houses anymore. But the things that they've been seeing, you know, via Facebook, the adverts, and it said that Instagram was the worst. But literally, there's the young girls now from 1996, they said, anyone who'd been, any young girls, they're more suicide rates, more hospitalizations, high rates of anxiety, and they proved they are affected for life, right? Now, when social media came out, did they have to prove that it was safe for kids?
Wow.
They didn't. Now, how the hell did it come out? And how did it just get out without any kind of, like, if we wanted to bring out something, we'd have to do, you know, prove all these things. That just appeared. There's no, like, nothing in place to protect our kids.
No.
And we said before.
Yeah, it's the easiest way for perpetrators and predators to find young people.
Yep.
Yeah, the world is coming to an end, and it probably is going to get worse, but that doesn't mean I'm going to just bow down to it. No.
And this is,
you know, we have to fight for what's right. It's not right. Like, people who have stood and made change for us, regardless of where they come from, what change that was, are we just going to disrespect all of that to allow this negativity to continue? No.
I'm just glad that there is some of us who are standing up, who aren't too distracted or too, you know, tunnel focused, that we know what's going on out here. We know it's not acceptable. We know it can't stay, and we are working to make changes. Now, I've said many a time on here, we have to do it through the law. That's the only way we can do it. We could march to, you know, millions of us. It's not going to change anything. We have to go to the law, and we have to change that, and we can do it. It's actually, I never knew this, but the system, because they, you know, they always talk about the system. It's set up. Everything we see, everything as it is now, that's how it's designed to be. It's been set up like this. This is how they want it to be. If we want it to be different, we have to change it. And how we do that is by attacking certain parts of the system, systematically, from different angles. I mean, I've already started, and I've got other people on board. I keep saying this, to get in contact with your MPs. I can help people with templates to send to your MPs, because the more people that do it, the more you're showing them that we're not standing for this. This is our children's lives. This is their futures. This is no life. This is no life for us, for the children. I just want to big up everyone locked in as well.
We can write into the MPs, it's just whether they'll respond, because at the moment they've not been responding.
Yeah, well, I'm going to agree with you there, because I haven't had a response, but I am determined, and at some point this is all going to come to light. So you've been going to your local MP down there?
Yeah, mine is Grant Schnaps.
Ah, well, I've got, who's mine? Harriet Harman.
She's normally quite decent, Harriet Harman.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, and I've even I've rung numbers, I've left voicemails, and no other MPs will help because I'm not in their constituency.
They all on payroll. Yeah, it's true.
They are all on the payroll. But it's worth to reach out to people in different areas and see if they can contact their MPs.
Yes, that's what we have. And this literally, I found this out quite recent. This is the only way. Now we can march, we can, demonstrate, but it's not going to change things going forward. The government aren't going to get involved. They're not. All they ever want to do is argue. If there's an argument to be had.
I've never been a fan of marching, to be honest. I think that the only way of getting things done is by being, my mum's in the background talking about, but
hi, Mum.
Hi.
The way that the government do things is a forceful way that they do things, but the only way we can force them to do stuff is by people getting arrested. Actually doing something that, marching is just, You got to ask for permission to march.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not rebellion. It's basically authorised. Loads of people walking down the street. And then they get us police, and then, you know, to make sure that we to be arrested if we complain about it. Yeah, and apparently they're putting changes around protests as well.
Oh, they've done that already. So I was just going to say that. So literally expect to be nicked.
Yeah, you're going to be nicked. Yeah,
and probably put in prison. So we haven't even got that right anymore. But the other thing I always say as well, the power, like social media, for the right reasons, we should be able to get to a lot of people via social media.
I had a page and I used to share a lot of information for like about 7 years, but I just kind of got a bit tired because I felt like I was wasting so much time, and people are just
it's disheartening.
Yeah,
right? We've been there. Like I've had periods, you know, where I'm fully on it, then I get disheartened because I think, where is everyone? Like, you know what? But what I found out is that a lot of people have got so much on, and a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there who just think of themselves, and then there's other people who are just tunneled in on the problems they have.
Yeah.
Which you can understand that, but where we are right now, we need people to come out of that and go, right, let's get onto these solutions. Because literally we're looking for people in every area to set up different solutions. You know, we've got loads. There is a lot of solutions that could be being done if we had the people on board.
Thanks. We got love all the way from Texas. We appreciate that.
I'll big up to Dallas, yeah. One of my
But you know,
rappers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love Dallas.
And that's what I was going to say. They're the only people with the most influence on young people. Like, do you know what I mean? If you've got people that are following you in quite a high voltage of numbers, and you know you're making a difference, why can't you all just come together and be adults, bro?
Yeah.
Young people are streaming your music, yeah, talking about you, gassing you up, all of this. What are you doing in return? You're not even telling them, listen, yo, this is just me speaking about my life being real, about the things that I went through. Please, whatever you do, don't follow my footsteps. No, you're not saying that shit. All right, what you've been through is real. What about women that have been trafficked from the age of 7? Is that not real? So why are you getting more respect than what certain other people are that have been victims of stuff? You don't see us trying to go and exploit other people or this. We all understand we're all up against the system. Okay? We're all up against racism, sexism. We're all up against everything. But does that mean that we have to carry on the way we're going?
Exactly, and stand for it. We have the power.
Said something the other day which was good. He was
I saw that.
H.
Yeah, was it just the post?
Yeah. In his story.
Yeah.
He was just speaking up about knife crime and
he wrote a post just saying, you know, don't pick up, but yeah. I mean, it's good that one person has said something, but I mean, I followed up on a few rappers that have put out a video saying, you know, and then when I've approached them to say, come on then, let's get to work, nothing.
They're all scared.
Yeah.
They're all scared to lose their jobs and their money. It's going to stop.
Yeah. Because I'm up against it within like the music industry. You know, for years I've been in this, and I've tried to get rappers to speak out because I know it will make a difference.
Yeah, but they're all part of it.
If they want, they could stop that within 2 seconds if they wanted to. Look how quickly they shut down Wiley when he talked about Jews.
Yeah.
How many rappers have got killed?
That's what I mean. So you know that they could do that. They can just straight.
They have a lot of control and power. They can do anything they want. Clearly, they don't want to do it. They're happy with what's going on.
Yeah, because the money's rolling in. When that money's not rolling in, it's the same with the weapons. Because we had a big we've had a lot of discussions on the sale of weapons, the weapons out there, where the weapons coming from. Like, even if you shut down the online shops, they're just going to open up again because it's the manufacturers, it's the huge companies that most people don't even know that that's where they're coming from. But if they weren't supplying them, they wouldn't even be here.
Exactly. And what young people aren't seeing, they're just like lambs to slaughters. Literally, there's a price on all of your head. There's a price on every...
protect them.
Exactly. There's a price on every single person's young head, whether it's the merchandise, the knives, whether it's drugs, whether it's this, everything. Every business benefits from basically, sorry to swear, fucking up our young people.
Yeah. And they're getting that music that is selling, that's killing young people, that's polluting their brains. The government are getting a massive slice of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to be honest, I was going to say a lot in it, you know, there's a lot of, big guys on road who are investing money into that.
Yeah.
Investing a lot of money into that.
Pharmaceutical, they are.
They need to be teaching, there should be like self-defense classes in schools.
Yep. That should be like mandatory. Yep.
Yeah, it should be mandatory that you go and do like, like Krav Maga or one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some kind of self-defense where people can defend themselves, not go out and attack, but defend themselves without using weapons. What's the point of having PE? Do some self-defense classes.
Yeah. Well, we want to see that in every school. That should be in every single school. That's something that I think we should be at least writing to our MPs about. We could do a petition, but like I was saying in the past, petitions are long.
Really and truly, what people should do, and what I've been saying before, when I had my big page and I was putting it out there, I was saying people should stop paying tax until the government and all these MPs and councillors are working within the public's best interests.
Yeah, because none of them are.
That's when it will hit them, because then they won't have money to go and splash 32 billion on track and trace that don't work. What about children that are dying?
Yeah.
Because there's laws around. There's laws around paying tax, and they know that. So they know that if we don't, they're going to give us all hell. I tell you what you should do, yeah? All of you parents should literally go on strike from your kids going to school until they educate and have lessons about life skills back in that school.
Yeah, but then they can come and take your child from home.
Then they
do.
Your social services.
This is what I'm saying, I know. This is why I think like I said, the parent training that I've just been on, which is, they call it Parent Champions, where you educate other parents. Now, like, we need this everywhere. So at least in each school, you've got a crowd of parents who are sorting that school out together.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm looking forward to making a start at our school, but it's something that, like, all parents need to be educated. It was shocking when I went on this course. One person there thought that they didn't even need to be there because there's no problem. She wasn't worried for anyone's safety, or she didn't think there was anything going on.
That's what they need to be doing as free people. That's the only way this is going to work.
These
young people, they don't stand a chance in this day and age at the moment.
No, at the moment, this is the frightening thing. This is the scary thing. This is why, that we're forever coming on and, like, what the hell's going on? But there's some people who are just oblivious to what is happening.
What some young people said before they committed suicide during the COVID lockdown? Mm-hmm. Basically, I think there's about 4 or 5, and their suicide notes were very similar. They were all, I didn't see the point of living. I don't know what I could possibly do to come out of this.
Oh my God.
That's how young people are feeling.
Oh.
Yeah, 100%. This is, and self-harm is extremely high, and self-neglect, It's like these young people are stuck in trap houses with dirty needles everywhere, being, sexually abused, and then they're chucked into God knows wherever else. They've got no life skills, bless them. Do you know what I mean? They're fighting for their life, mentally, their own well-being. They're up against so much, and it's like, at what point as adults do we actually have to sit there and say, you know what, we need to protect our children? Do you know, literally one day outside my house, I saw these 2 young girls, right, walking past, and this man was trying to grab him, literally physically grabbed him. So I've screamed at him. I was like, get in my driveway. I've gone out there and I've given him hell. Luckily, my neighbours come out too. I was like, you really going to try and take 2 children off road like that? I was going mad.
They are taking them off the street.
You have to, man.
So as a human being, am I just going to sit there and watch that happen right in front of my face? Is that the mentality now? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When there's people like me from the age of 15 that's been out here trying to save people's lives, because I've been, you know, subconsciously doing it from a young age. I've stood over people when they're just about to stab someone. If I didn't stand in front of them, they'd be stabbed. I put myself at risk. All right, it's probably not the best thing to do at times, but if you have the opportunity to try and save a life, what else can we do?
To us, that's a natural, isn't it? Like, you would want to.
Of course.
I just don't know what this world has come to be honest.
I'm interested to see if anyone else wants to come and jump in the live there and have something to say.
What have we got there?
I'll go.
Because I think my other one, I think we've still got space anyway, because I had the
we still got space.
Yeah, we had the Let the Youth Live running, but I think the batteries died. So, but yeah, you see, to do with the schools, right? There's so many things that need to be put to schools. What I'm kind of envisioning now is that we get kind of like a list of things for all schools that we send out, because like they all seem this, like they're not. I think Peace and Love Movement said on there before that the schools are saying, you know, carrying on like there's not much knife crime, and they're not. Even in COVID, they've not been very, what's the word, like they've just been over the top. I think, like, not kind of realizing, it's COVID, yes, they've got a lot to cope with, but they're just doing more and more to make it harder for the parents and harder for the children. All the exclusions. Do you know the exclusion rate? It didn't lower in COVID.
I believe that.
Now, the exclusion thing, part of my training the other day was exclusions. And yeah, it's shocking what's going on. And that's another thing, you know, like I'd like to help other parents and, you know, explain to them what to do if they start, you know, trying to exclude your child. But really, I would advise everybody to read the behaviour policy of whichever school your child is at, so you know what to do, because they're not all the same, the behaviour policies. And I think there was a new law as well recently where I think if your child's permanently excluded, I think it's only in academies, which is what my daughter's at actually, that if they're permanently excluded, even when you repeal it, the governors are not allowed to reinstate them. And that was a new law recently. But it was very worrying. The statistics, we all know once children are excluded, we know where they're heading, where they're going to end up. It's a known fact. The school to prison pipeline. And you know, the one thing that the government have invested in?
Go on.
More prisons.
Yes.
But prisons make money though. Prisons make money.
Yeah.
The government speculate to accumulate. They spend money where they can make money. And that's what they do. That's
their biggest money spinner. Yeah. They're
queuing
queuing our kids up to get them on the bloody conveyor belt, and they're, you know, I couldn't believe that they're doing men's and women's prisons.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. But all of these things that have come into play, all of these new legislations that have come in, like the Coronavirus Act, you know, there's so many things that can put you in prison from that legislation as well. Just defying, you know, anything around COVID or not obeying directions. So of course that is potentially to come, that they could be imprisoning people just for that. When there's people that are out there doing real serious stuff that they're not bothered about, which is a real shame. But the metal detectors should be in every school. I don't understand why.
I think we should put that. I think we should jointly get something together with metal detectors, just something, you know, the self-defense class is mandatory, some other life skill stuff, and just start demanding this.
Because a lot of young people, a high percentage of them, if you ask them, why do you carry a knife? They're not saying I'm carrying a knife so I can go and attack people. A lot of people are carrying knives for protection.
Yes, because they're scared.
In case someone tries to rob them or attack them, or
and the thing is, they are getting robbed. Yeah, and the knives they're getting robbed with, like, they're huge. I actually witnessed a moped robbery. I didn't know that's what was happening at the time, and it was shocking. Like, the weapons were bigger than them. It was. Oh my God.
I know, but you know what, ladies? Like, at least we're here right now, and gentlemen as well.
Yeah, like, big up to us and everyone locked in as well. Enough love to all of you, man.
Exactly. The one thing they can't stop us from doing is talking about it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it needs talking about. People aren't speaking about it enough. You know, they're really not speaking about it. The actual solutions for now. Now, I mean, the bleed control cabinets, they will keep people alive until the ambulance gets there. So I'm literally sick of the same. It's like repeated, you know, another young person bleeding to death on the street, and yet again there's nothing to help keep them alive until the ambulance comes.
Yeah.
Well, they should all be taught first aid at school as well, and they're not.
Yeah, so that's another one. So self-defense, first aid, right? So we'll get like a template letter, a list of, you know, this is what we want. And if, depending on how these parent workshops and that go, because at the moment I'm involved in 5 schools. It's 5 different schools, but that should be expanding each time. I mean, I'm wondering if I should do maybe some of this online.
Absolutely, babe.
What I learned, so that maybe we could get more parents. So we'll just do it as a parents, you know, knowledge.
Well, I work in housing law, so if anybody that you come across needs, if you need to message me around advice for someone who's fleeing violence or threats of violence.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Just let me know, and then I can give you like a template letter for them to use to get emergency accommodation with the local authority.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you, darling.
That's okay.
Because that's another thing as well. Like, it's so, and especially during COVID, there's been so much domestic violence.
Not just domestic violence, but people are actually. I mean, some of the issues that I've had to deal with is people being shot dead, being stabbed, like so many different cases of, and you don't know what's going on in their life, and then later on they've been shot dead or stabbed, and that's me working in housing, seeing that. So if they would have been rehoused, or if they would have gone to, you know, the local authority sooner, or told someone about it, or got advice, then probably they'll still be alive. Because
yeah, it's difficult. Guys, what can we say apart from we're here again, and at least like every time we do this or every time we talk about it, we incite hope into somebody, whether it's one person, 2 people, you know. But there's you don't take away my hope, because I'm not gonna give that to the world.
No, exactly. I mean, I definitely believe we can make a difference. I know we can.
Even the young people, though, they feel like they've got no hope. Like, how did it get to be in that age and having that? Babes! Oh my God! But how has it got to this point where young people have literally no hope? None. What does it matter? Why do I need to go? Yeah. They just have no hope, no faith. They feel like they can't even sit down and educate themselves. They feel like they're gonna fail. They don't have life skills when it comes to like jobs and creating CVs, and they're just like, oh, don't care, whatever, you know. They just don't believe in themselves, and these are things that surely schools are supposed to be teaching them.
I don't think a lot of that's going on, like even care for the children, you know, looking at, you know, what's going on for them, looking at their needs. I think a lot of it's getting missed. I think a lot, it's like, yeah, just even like the way they're treating kids as if nothing's happened and nothing is happening. Like they don't have knife crime and all those issues to deal with. They've got, you know, we've got COVID as well, but school is still really being strict. They're banging on about all the attendance. They're banging on about all different things. You know, you should be doing this, this and this. But I think it's time they actually step up, the schools.
Yeah, and the
So
local
I'm planning to make my daughter's school step up very soon. This will be the trial run for all the other schools.
And the local authorities have to take a level of responsibility of giving that knowledge. You know, there's no point just training key workers and social workers and support workers. Like having a child is a whole process of knowledge that you need to be able to raise that child safely, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Children are in the care of teachers for how many hours a day?
Yeah. At the course the other day, there were so many parents. They were going on about the over discipline. It was all the same from all the schools, all the parents. They, you know, all these detentions for stupid reasons, for all these, you know, excessive sending people home for silly things. It was, yeah, and you just think, hang on a minute, like they want kids to come to school, so they should be mindful of what it takes for a child to actually make it to school and even get to school in one piece.
Literally.
But it'd be handy to know. I'd like to know from anyone who's been, you know, watching, who's locked on, you know, in any schools that you know about, whether they are educating the children. Are there people coming in speaking to them about grooming and, you know, gangs and healthy relationships? Because I mean, I know there is some schools doing it, but I found out quite recently, my daughter's never had anything in her school. She's 15. They've never had any kind of education like that. Obviously I educate my daughter, but the school, nothing. And they need to start bloody educating the children so they can make informed choices.
Well, I think they should do, if they don't feel comfortable talking to children about exploitation, the school should have classes with the children and the parents, so they do it together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
So I think it would be really a good way of doing it would be, you know, like role play scenarios, seeing it in front, the kids seeing it, so then they can go, wow, that's kind of like me and my so-called friend who does that for me down the road, you know, like, so they can, real life scenarios, should I say, so that they can actually, realise what grooming is, because in most cases they don't recognise that's what it is. It's just someone being nice to them, somebody, you know, they think is a friend.
Oh, what was it called? There was a play that they did a couple of years ago around exploiting, but I don't know how mainstream in schools it become.
Yes,
but there was.
Yeah, because that would be brilliant. Because even that, you know, like to go to different schools or even hold online things where you're showing that, because that's all it takes. But if kids don't know anything, you know, and they need to know something. But
honestly, they're tapped. These kids have gone in their head. How have we got 15-year-olds doing double life murders, please?
No.
How?
It's just.
That's what the future's be. We're all pass away soon, but you see all these lot, and then the next generation up. Well, what's going to happen to them?
Mm-hmm. And this is the thing. It's frightening. It frightens me. It frightens me that much. That's why I want to try and do something while I am here.
Yeah, of course.
Shout out to KPT Kells, and Rap God as well. Big up to you. Shout out everybody locked in. They follow me what they see. Yeah. But yeah,
So
it's a sad state of affairs. It's so bad. It's like actions
love you,
needed
babe. Speak
now.
to you soon. Sorry, sweet.
Oh,
Mm.
big up to you, Natalie's.
Look at it, got key working. Go on, girl. See, that's how we do.
Yeah.
I worked alongside her for nearly 2 years, actually, helping young people. She's amazing. Thank you, Natalie, for everything that you do. I love you.
And that's the thing, you know, like we need great people out there. Big up to all of you doing that work out there, saving lives. I'm just
I don't
grateful for
feel like
everyone.
support workers or key workers get enough recognition.
No, they don't. I don't think they do. I think we should start doing it weekly, you know, like let's start posting them up.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Key worker of the week.
Literally. I agree.
Let's do it. Because you're right. There's so many people out there who are not getting the recognition at all for what they're doing. And the main reason is because they're busy at it. They're busy saving lives. They haven't got a minute to come in, take photos. I posted something earlier this week, actually, with my friend Marlon. He spoke out about kind of mentors and kind of what's been going on. But it's sad state of affairs, man.
It is when a 12-year-old girl loses her life for looking what?
Mm-hmm.
So you're all gonna jump this poor little girl in the middle of broad daylight?
That's what I mean. We can't even fathom that, because it's just like they all have to be ill, like sick in the head.
Do you know what? Between the violence, the gaming, the drugs, the alcohol, the county lines, or like, there's no space for a young person to really feel safe anymore.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they need, some safe spaces.
They do need safe spaces, but what they also need to do is stop picking up these bloody knives. Do you know what I mean? Like, stop. If you was really bad, man, what are you pulling knives out for?
Mm.
And it took how many? Three or four guys to attack this 12-year-old girl. 12. Helpless 12-year-old girl.
Ugh. And then yet again, another family, another community, traumatized, in pain. And we're literally a country in trauma. That's
do you know what? Yeah, and what scares me though is there's no remorse, there's no fear, there's no nothing.
Where has that
gone?
Where? No.
Kids don't care. They actually don't care. They don't care. They're fearless now.
I just don't know what we're going to do. I mean, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. But I'm just praying more people get on board. Like, I'm praying that more people get on board with the solutions.
We need to speak more about it.
I think personally we need to try and do more of the lives again.
Yeah, we will.
Whenever you can. If it's,
well, my room's getting sorted now, so I'll give you the update on that, and then we can, because I haven't. Yeah, I need to apologise to everyone for being ghost for so long. But obviously, as you know, I work with young people, so my commitment is in the community. So, you know, once I can get that side of it out of the way and I've got time to do this and speak to you, then I will. But it was so important for me to this week come back after what I'd heard about the 12. It just infuriated me.
I know. It's
ridiculous.
And then there was another two, wasn't there? There was one quite
Yeah.
local to you, a young man.
Yeah, there was. He was 16. Again, I don't think he was in any form of kind of gang. And yeah, he was stabbed. I think they stole his phone, wasn't it? I think.
And a Gucci bag was.
And
I'm
his
sure
Gucci
that was
bag,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, fake Gucci bag. I just don't know
My
what they're going
goodness.
to do to.
They're not going to do nothing, sweet. Let's face it, yeah? They don't give a shit. That's it. You know, anybody who's got some kind of status isn't speaking up about this. Anyone who's in Parliament really isn't sitting there saying, you know what? This is a serious thing. I need to be getting involved on this and putting it out to the people that are trying to do something. That's not happening.
Why aren't they? This is what's the weirdest thing. Is the people
They
who
don't
could
care.
do something like that, like actually make a difference, get, you know, a message out to people, get people on board. I mean, even the GoFundMe. I'm sure if somebody, you know, it was a big celebrity that was doing the GoFundMe, then funds would have been raised, like, to save lives. Shout out to everyone who has shared the campaign, who has donated, but we really need your help to spread the word. Donate. We've got the money for our Peckham cabinet, but we want to get on to our next ones. The next one for Brixton, a Camberwell. We want to get through the boroughs, all right? Shout out to everyone. But yes, we need to get those cabinets in every borough. So at least, you know, we can keep people alive until we get more in place. Because I can't even believe how long it's taken with the bleed cabinets and kits. They're a basic. They're what the government should have just had everywhere anyway, because it's health and safety. And if somebody had an accident, even an accident, let alone a car accident or a knife injury or a gun wound, the government, that should be legal. But that is something that I am working on that. I want the law changed on that because it should be. I can't even believe that it's just left to us.
Let's be honest, no one wants to put their hand in their pocket, mate.
Yeah, but they've got the money.
They're the poor to support the poor. That's what they're doing, and that's what they want. You know what I mean?
The poor trying to sort. We're coming from the poor, like trying to raise money, like pennies. We're coming with pennies to try and do this. It's crazy.
Yeah. And they know that, though. They know that. You know? We don't have those high statuses. And the ones that do, I don't understand. You lot got tax to lose anyway, so give it to us, innit? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They could be doing something. But then I do know that there are organisations out there who are getting a lot of money for making a difference in knife crime and gun crime, but we're not really noticing any differences. But I know there's a lot of people getting a lot of money, money.
This has turned into the new craze now, isn't it? Let's all say we want to make change and do nothing about it. Oh, great, lovely, thank you very much, appreciated. I respect it,
isn't it? I find that as disgusting as the ones using knives.
In fact, it's worse because there's people like me that would work 24/7 and go to a lot of lengths to make change, and you're just ripping me off, basically.
Yep. And it's bad. One day it will all come out.
Yes, it will
come out. Because this is young people's lives that they're messing about with.
Yeah, and their future, you know, they do. It's true. I understand why they feel like they don't have a future. I don't feel like we have a future, to be fair, as a nation. Like, we're tearing each other to bits.
So I try to stay positive, but it's so hard because, like you're saying, it's just really negative. Like you're saying, people pulling you apart. No one helping lift others up. I mean, there's some people, but in general, it's the standing on you, pushing you down, like you're not coming up. Literally.
Everyone's out for themselves. Like this is the mentality of life right now, unfortunately. I don't know. It's scary being a good person because everyone else seems to have a motive. That's why I'm so protective of my energy, man. People are not right in the head. I'm not even gonna lie. No, it's not. How can you like? I'm sorry, but how can we keep allowing this? You lot are adults, bro, and you want to go to move to kids to get them to move your shit for some little bit of money while you're threatening them. Nah.
And the other thing is when the other lady was talking about the drill music and all that, what I've been noticing is all the old school artists featuring on them type of tracks and adding to those lyrics. Like adding to, you know, the young ones, I don't expect much more, you know, like, but our generation, like the older generation in the music, they should be an example.
Yeah, like, you know what, and maybe many people might not agree with me, right? But I understand the art of kind of speaking about your life and what you've been through. I think it's important to share that.
Yeah,
but what I don't think it's important to do is carry on like that it needs to be going on in that direction, rather than spinning a corner and using that opportunity, that door, to climb through it and you know, build windows for other people. Do you know what I mean? All right, cool, you've gone around, you've done your bits and bobs, yeah? Be humble about it. Move on with your life and do something positive. Like, why do you have to sit there and carry on with it? But it's more than just a lifestyle. It is more than a lifestyle. People will die by the sword. Some people are just not going to budge.
Guy I had on a couple of weeks ago. Good evening to you, Boo Becca. Enough love, darling. Yeah, the guy I had on a couple of weeks ago, he said, I read his books. He's extremely interesting. Stephen Graham. He's got, oh my God, loads of solution programs, workshops and stuff. I'll have to send you the link for his website and that. But he says, we don't have a gang culture. We have a street culture. That is what's going on. And it's it's everywhere. And it's all promoted, that street culture.
Yeah, in everything from smoking to fashion to drugs to weapons. Sex to music, weapons, everything. And I mean, like I say, there's loads of kids that don't have that family support unit, so they're more, you know, easy to target and manipulate. And then they go on, you know, statistics will tell you that most abusers have been victims of abuse themselves, been, you know,
go on to abuse.
How do we change that, tackle that in itself?
Yeah, I watched something quite recently. They were suggesting early castration. What else was it saying? I can't remember what program that was that I watched actually, but I know that they've been releasing them early from prison.
What, sex offenders? Don't play with me.
Don't piss me off no more. What? So that's something else. Yeah, there's something else, because even Ian Huntley is over halfway. So what's going to happen when his thing's up? We'll probably still be here when he comes out. He should never get out, ever.
See, this is what I'm talking about, man.
Does anyone want to come up on the live? Just request us. Shout out to Tito Star. Yeah, if anyone wants to jump on the live, we'd love to get you on. But yeah, so that's definitely another area we're going to be hitting as well within the law. Paedophiles. Because our kids, whatever program I was watching recently, they were saying we're never going to get rid of them. They're always going to be, but we can at least try and protect our children and be aware of the dangers everywhere. Oh, and that was the other thing. It said 90% of cases are people that you know. It's not really strangers. 90% is people that you know. It said there was 2 types of pedos as well. You had the ones like what you saw outside your house, where they snatched them. And then you've got the other ones, and these ones are the ones we all need to be careful of, who look for you on dating sites. Your mum, like mothers, And the first thing they'll ask you is, do you have kids? And they're quite happy to get to know you for a whole minimum a year. They don't mind. They'll wait a year. They will wait a year. They'll wait however long it takes till you feel you relax enough and feel comfortable enough to leave them babysitting.
Yep.
So parents need to be aware of this, you know, if you know, single parents, just very mindful of that fact. In fact, I think what I was watching actually, it was a guy, he was a policeman who went undercover. He was undercover catching paedophiles.
I saw something like that as well.
Oh, oh my God, thank goodness.
You know what, I can't deal with them. I can't deal with them. I can't deal with them. I cannot deal with paedophiles. I'm sorry, but you're the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. Cannot deal with you. Cannot deal with you.
Someone's requesting. Who are we going to take? Claire? Right, let's take Claire. Right, we've got Claire joining us.
All right, sweet. Give me 2 seconds and then I'll be back, yeah?
Okay, darling. All right. Okay. Right, I'm going to add you up, Claire, my darling. But yeah, parents. Hi, Claire.
Hi, okay.
How you doing, darling? Thank you for joining us today.
Great, thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I was just listening to your topic about the paedophiles. I was thinking it's a really interesting topic. And I totally agree with you in terms of vetting and monitoring who you have in your home as a single parent, and you know about who you're trusting within your home. But also I do feel that it's very important for you know, mothers and fathers to have these conversations with their children and let them know that they can speak out if someone's touching them inappropriately, and you know, not to be ashamed of it as well, or feel, oh, no one's not going to listen to me. And even if you feel that someone in your family is not going to listen to you, because like you said, it could be the perpetrator is family or someone who you know, basically, you know, to let them know that like they can speak out until when they're heard and stuff, and never feel ashamed about, you know, if someone is being, you know, not correct in the way that they're touching them and stuff. So letting them that, you know, your private is your private, no one's not allowed to touch it. Or if you feel uncomfortable, say something to somebody, report it to someone. Don't let it just like keep happening as well. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of paedophiles, what they tend to do, they tend to make it normalized to the child. So like, if you don't tell, I'll buy you this, and they bribe them not to tell, or threaten them in a way that, oh, if you don't tell, I'm going to hurt everyone in your family, or I'm going to hurt your mom, or, you know, just certain things. And it makes the child be brainwashed, thinking that, oh, if I tell, I'm going to get in real bad trouble. But we as parents have to make sure that we need to make sure that our children know that this is wrong, and it's their body, and that they have boundaries. And if they feel that if someone is overstepping that boundary, it's okay to like say, can get away from me, or in some ways, like, you know, defend themselves, is in, you know, self-defense, maybe, you never know, you know, depending on the kind of perpetrator that there is, you know what I mean? But I just feel like it's imperative that as a community and in the family and at schools, that we need to make our children more aware of these things. And
yeah, definitely, because like I don't think they're educated at the schools. They don't seem to be giving them, you know, the information that they need. You know what I mean?
Yes. Also, there's agencies as well, you know, because sometimes people feel that they can't speak to their family members and stuff like that. But there is places like Bernardo's. I know Bernardo's is quite a very good charity that deal with, you know, people that are stressing and stuff like that. So in terms of that, it's just finding out, you know, what agencies there is. If you really feel that you can't speak to your family members or someone that you can trust in your family, or maybe maybe they have to tell someone at school, like a school teacher or a mentor, or you know, a dinner lady, it doesn't really matter. Somebody who you feel that you can trust and that they're going to listen to you, and not just listen but hear, because a lot of people, they do cry out and they do tell people, and there's
oh no, that could never be that person. I don't see them like that. And then they can be subjected to years of abuse because no one's listened or no one's not hearing and listening at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
And I feel that it's imperative that we look after our next generation, because when someone's violated from a young age, say through the hands of a paedophile, the scars and how you feel stays with you for quite a long time. And some people have to go through a lot of counselling and stuff just to feel like a normal person. And you come to the realisation, oh, it's, you know, it's the perpetrator. Because when you're a child, you cannot be responsible for something that happens to you as a child. You have to hold accountable the people that are looking after you, and that's why we need to make sure that we're vetting the people that we're letting in our homes, especially when we have children. And you know, myself, I have children, I have boys and I have girls, but growing the children up, it was always like the worry more for a girl. But however, the worry is not just for a girl, it can happen to boys also.
As well,
So people shouldn't overshadow that and not look at it as think because it's because a boy, nothing can happen to him. It can happen just as much.
I know of both, like girls and boys. So yeah,
sure, definitely. But I think it's all about networking and having information available, and having, you know, maybe a charity where people can like speak and let out their feelings about these kinds.
We still have, you know, like years ago there was like, was it like Childline, or is there still said St. Bart?
As far as I'm aware, they're still about, but again, the number's not widely given out like it used to be back in the day, you know, like when I was a youngster. But there is, you know, new charities that have come about, and some of the old charities have disappeared. As you know, with charity work, it's all about funding and getting the right funding and being able to fund your project for a long enough time to actually do the work and to engage with the community the way you would like to engage with them.
Because the program I saw recently, like I said, it was the undercover guy, and he'd said, what was he saying about that? The main thing is they have to get the paedophile has to get the child's trust. As soon as he gains that, they're in. And it's that. So that's what we need to arm our children with, that information, so they know what to be looking out for. And then obviously if they're too young, to protect them enough that there isn't anyone in there able to get to them. But the guy said they asked him like what kind of things to look out for, you know.
Sure, definitely. And I do feel that sometimes as young single parents that you can struggle, and especially when you have more than one child, and people sort of think, oh, you've had one child, didn't you learn from your mistakes? Now you've got another one, and so forth. And sometimes the support network's not there in terms of respite, where the parent may be very tired and maybe depending on the ages of the children, and really do need that help. And like you said, someone who's not trustable can easily be like, oh, I'll help you.
Yeah, I'll give you a hand with that.
Nice things, but then they have like a very ulterior motive in terms of, like you said, just trying to gain your trust so that they can do their dirty deeds and stuff like that. But however, I just feel that, you know, there is support out there. Again, it's just looking for it in terms of baby or mother groups where you can go with your toddler and, you know, do like toddler play and stuff. And, you know, you're in the room, but you can also have a coffee and tea and speak to other parents about, you know, your episodes. Maybe you have a terrible two, or, you know, you're a new mom, you have literally no experience. Or say you have an older child, maybe with other problems, say maybe ADHD or autism, etc. And it's generally quite nice to go to those kind of groups, because you can mingle with other parents and you realise, okay, I'm not the only parent that might find it's difficult, or you know, just sort of just wanting that little bit of a break, because it is a huge responsibility having a child, and it changes your life a lot. And sometimes, you know, society may put pressure on you in terms of that you need to work and raise a family, and so the support network's not always there, because your own family may be doing the same thing, going to work and raising their family also. So it just totally depends, and I feel that every person's needs and wants is different, according to different households. But there is definitely outside agents there, and I think it's just a case of maybe people like yourself, myself, who are aware of these things, sort of like what you said, putting it out there so that people can get the help and the support that they need.
Yeah, I'm going to look into more into different agencies and stuff, but definitely I think going forward we need to get this out to people, and like you say, get people speaking about it.
So it's awareness. So basically what you're doing is want to make it more aware so that people are looking out for these telltale signs, because a lot of the times people do actually see red flags and then they sort of think, well, am I overthinking or am I overlooking? And a lot of the time you're actually not. And I just feel like, you know, sometimes you may offend a person, but I think it's just best to have that relationship with your child where they feel very open, and that the fact that you can speak,
they would tell you if something felt uncomfortable, if they're old enough, you know what I mean? So
and I just feel like until the age, me personally, I just feel that until the age or that your child is quite fluent in a sense of speaking, in terms of the fact that they can say, oh mommy, someone hurt me, or someone hit me, or someone did anything, I don't feel that you should be leaving them in someone else's care, especially when they're that vulnerable. But however, again, the argument,
the circumstances,
so again, the argument could be that you may need to finish studying to create a future for you and your future family, and so that means you have to leave to make maybe a childcare provisional place and so forth, and they're there as well. You know, you do have people that actually go into these jobs specifically with that in mind. You know, but again, it's about looking at your ratings, looking at what kind of security measures they have there, etc. I mean, I know a lot of the modern nurseries now are quite up to date and modern in terms of there's a lot of cameras and stuff. I think the only place where they're not allowed to put one is in the bathrooms and in changing areas, where that obviously it could be recorded. But I feel that most of the times they're probably vetted in the sense of two staff have to go. Or maybe
rather
you have
like so you haven't got one person. So
they tend to be a group of children, 2 staff or 3 staff at a time, and that's another measure, you know, if to monitor if things are not being right, like to make people bring children in twos and pairs, so therefore you've got always another adult overseeing, because where the camera's not there, then possibly that could be a targeting area. So again, this is a very, very wide topic, and there's just so many angles, and I just feel that without doing homework and real research and putting the right information out there in the right organisations, and I feel that a lot of people will go through this and just not have a way of thinking how to get out.
The undercover guy, they were asking him, were there any things to look out for? Like, was there anything, you know? And one of the things he said was, always keep an eye on someone who's at an adult party where there's children, but they're hanging with the kids.
Sure, alone. Definitely, because you have to think that actually makes you think, like, what is your motive?
Yeah.
Because really, what is an adult? Unless you've got a child there that you're accompanying, and it's your own child, or you've branded another
why
child.
Would you?
What business do you have hanging around other people's children anyway? Unless you're working in a setting where you work with children.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was a good, you know, one to look out for. It was him that said as well that the 90% is it's going to be someone that you know. And most single of the time, parents need to be really.
I feel most of the time it's generally someone that you know. I mean, you do, like you said, get the odd bob, you know, that's a stalker kind of type ones, but very rarely.
I think that's Cristela. I'm just going to add her back up. All right.
Yeah, sure. And it was nice speaking to you.
Stay on. You can stay on. It's lovely. You've really made some great points today about that, and quite a lot that I'm going to work on as well going forward.
Definitely. And you know, feel free to inbox me. And if there's anything that I can do within my power, or any agents that can
Wicked.
put you in the right
Because
direction,
we've been
then I'll
saying, hi, darling.
always. Hi.
Yes, we've been saying, like, we talk about this quite a lot, this topic. We know that, you know, our kids need protecting, but the more we're armed with knowledge, and the children as well.
Knowledge is strength, knowledge is power.
Exactly.
And respect. Like, you know what I mean? When I see other women, I think to myself, I don't know what you've been through. Like, really, we don't know. You've probably been through things that I've been through, and vice versa. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to start understanding each other and supporting each other.
Definitely. We're
exactly. The problem is, there's always the bad is outweighing the good at the moment. There's more bad than there is good. So we're a minority.
Sure, but you know,
then,
sorry. Sometimes it just takes the one person to bring it to the fore of people's minds. And once you start engaging and you start making it more and more aware and making this topic more of the fore, then people start joining on board. And then with numbers, there's also power. So again, it's about putting the projects out there, putting these concerns out there, and contacting the right people, and finding out, you know, through local council, through local government, what support nets are available. You know, what can we put in place, and how can we support as maybe a charity or as individuals.
And also, like, what's the law now? You know, have they put that law in where we can find out if there's paedophiles on our roads, or is that not through? Or did that ever go through?
Actually, I think that it had gone through, but I'm not sure. Very current legislation in terms of, I know that a lot of people were chasing them down, so I don't know if they've gone back to keeping it, you know, keeping the privacy of these kind of people.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm not on a witch hunt for anybody, but however, there has to be some form of monitoring and some form of accountability, because you have shown that you have broken society's protocols before. And so, in my opinion, I'm not saying people can't change, but however, you've shown tendencies, and the fact of the matter remains that if you've done it once, there isn't any reason to say you can't do it again.
No, exactly. And the thing is,
you've already shown that you're capable of doing it.
We've got these child murderers, rapists in prison that recently, one of them was let out. He didn't even do his full term. He was in for 30 years. He got let out after 28 years for good behaviour. I can't remember what he did. He did something in prison. They let him out 2 years early. He's actually been sent back for something to do with his paperwork or something. He's back, not because he's actually, but he should never be out. He murdered 2 young girls, like, and even more horrific than I can even say what happened to them. And he's out. Wow, they don't even get life anymore. Like, well, at all. They don't get. They should. If they go, they shouldn't be coming out. And that's something that I am going to fight for.
Not when you show that you're so horrific in society, no. I mean, given the fact if you'd been sentenced hard in the first place, you would never been given the fact to be able to be able to do it again. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
if they didn't get let out, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to be able to do the same crime 2 more other times. Those 2 lives could have actually been spared had they have taken it very seriously the first time.
Look at that sicko Venables.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. The Venables, who'd been involved with Jamie Bolger, and he came out, and look what he did, and then he's back again. They should never ever come out.
Oh wow. I mean, I'm not current on that story, but I can just only imagine. I mean, what happened in the first place was horrific. So, to me, you should never be given the chance to be horrific again.
And this is something that needs to
at the
change.
Same time, I'm not going to say that people can't learn from their mistakes and people can't change. Some people generally do learn from their mistakes and they do actually change. But however, I feel that because we are a forgiving society, and the fact that we also need to give scope and a bit of room for people that really genuinely are really sorry for any indecencies they've done. Fair enough. But however, there has to be a little bit more monitoring of these people and making sure that they are fitting into society and are, you know, what's the word, reconciliating where they've gone wrong. And not just being
but it
able
don't
to
happen,
be the
darling.
chance to
This
do
is
it
the
again.
problem.
But that's
This is the
but
problem.
that's where change needs to come then, because however, if that's not happening, well, and that doesn't happen, well, that seems to be the problem itself then, isn't it? Because who is accountable for letting these people back out? Where's the accountability for where their whereabouts are and what they're doing and who they're hanging around with and stuff like that? Surely someone needs to be accountable. If you know someone has perpetrated like that in the first place, how in God's world can you feel that just let them out and leave them to society and feel that they're not going to maybe slip off or do the same act again?
If they've killed children and raped children before and they're letting them out, like, they need to make, like,
there needs to be some serious accountability. There needs to be some serious monitoring.
And then the other thing that they're all saying,
because if you're letting them out in society, it's not society's duty to be watching their children from these kind of people. I'm sorry, but you've committed the crime, and I would never say, you know, hold someone accountable for their crime for the ever of their life, because like I said, there is that possibility for forgiveness and someone can change. I'm not saying no, but then there's limits, and if you've shown so much of a violent act in the first place, why would you feel that it is so what's the word, why would you think it's such a good idea to just let them back out and just let them to just leave them be to do what they want to do?
More space on the phone.
So I blame the people that are letting these people back out into society with no accountability.
1 sec, sweet. I'll be back in a second. Sorry.
Okay, darling. Okay. Yeah, so we've got
it's absolutely diabolical.
Yeah, we've got Ian Huntley is way over half of his sentence. What happens when he comes to, like, unless the law gets changed, he's coming back out, and he cannot.
Well, this is why we need to campaign for change.
Yeah,
and we need to start lobbying for change. And like you said, with numbers is great, because if people are put in these positions through to Parliament, someone at some point has got to stop and listen and has got to stop and hear.
Yeah, and the more of us that do it, and from different places as well. So it's like across the UK.
Unity we stand, division we fall. So if everyone is standing in unity, then it has to stand, because if the communities are not being divided on such a subject, then people will have to stand and start taking notice.
Yeah. And it's something, we have to get this changed. We have to make changes. I'm sick of literally, you know, like we hear what they get, you know, like they're nicked, they get this couple of years, you know, and it's like everyone's screaming up about it, but we need to make that change.
But also, I also feel that not only do we need to make that change, but again, you know, these people, a lot of them obviously have psychological problems, because we cannot say that the people that go out there and perpetrate and commit these crimes are people within the right mind capacity. Because if you to commit such an act, you're therefore in some form of way your mind has to be diminished, because someone who is of the right mindset will never ever in the first place think to go out and commit such a crime. So therefore it starts off as well with that. We need to start using health professionals and health facilities in terms of mental illness and mental health, and people who are not thinking correctly needing to get the right kind of help to support them mentally, because maybe some of these people, maybe if they had mental support and could speak to someone about how they're feeling, maybe they could literally be spoken out of it and maybe go through some therapy, and it could change their life. We don't know, but until, like you said, we put this out there and we speak to different agencies, we speak to different psychologists, we speak to different doctors and find out what are their views, what do they feel needs to change, what do they feel needs to be put in place. And I feel that it's not just going to be like people like myself and you. This needs a way lot more outside agencies. It means working with police, working with ambulance services, because I'm sure that they've picked up rape victims. How do the victims feel and stuff like that, you know?
Christella's saying she's got to go. She's got an emergency. Thank you, my darling, for joining us. All right. Enough love.
But
I mean, yes, to get them involved, definitely. And kind of the other thing is, right, so we can deal with they've been caught, and then we're going to change the system as well to try and get them to stay in there. But then the catching them before they do it. So we know that, you know, a lot is people who've already been abused. How do we catch them before they do it?
So I would say then, so when you say catching them, we don't want to catch them because they shouldn't be.
Yeah, but just catch them before they. So
what we need to do is catch the children before the perpetrator can perpetrate them and make their moves on them. Because, however, it's about educating the child and letting that child know that your body, your temple. So that is how the chain will be broken. Because, however, these people are going to think and do what they want to do, but letting children know and be aware about their bodies, that it's their temple.
To say something as well. Yeah. Because I really don't think they talk enough about, you know, I really don't feel like we hear the conversation or even the kids.
I would say, like, people make you feel when you're abused victim that you should be, like, there's a lot of stigma to it, you know, in terms of, you've been damaged because this has happened to you and so forth. But it's taking that stigma away.
Oh, you're back.
Know, and
yeah, it was emergency phone call from work, so I thought I had to go now, but I can leave in half an hour. So I'm like, listen, I'm doing my podcast and I'm pissed off today, so I'm not moving till I select off every single paedophile that thinks they can run things.
Yeah, exactly. They need it. They need it, man.
Yeah, definitely. So I just feel that, like, it's definitely educating our children. Education is definitely a way of moving forward, and I feel that educating is definitely key. I mean, in terms of growing up myself, when I was growing up, we couldn't really talk about certain things because of the, you know, the way the elders were back then. You know, sex wasn't a subject that you could really go to your elders and talk about. It was like, go and get a book, do something else. What do you even know about it? And you wasn't really listened to. But I feel that it's imperative and it's important that as parents that we listen to our children, and that when our children speak, whether it's a lie or whether it's some truths within a lie or whether it is true altogether, do not dismiss it. Investigate, do your homework, and protect your children. And you know, I've heard stories from friends that are really close to me, you know, and they have said something to people in their family, and they've said, you know, things to key people, and they were basically told that they were liars. And so
oh my God.
And this is the other thing. Like, yeah, it's like perpetrators get a whole new identity. They get to eat 3 days a week without worrying where the income's coming from. Yet a victim's got to live with that trauma for the rest of their life. We don't get a second chance like that.
No.
This is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, are you for real? Like, I understand, yeah, we're all sinners, we're all doing wrong things, I get it, but come on, raping children, even raping women or men, rape, full stop, sexual predators, like pedophiles, why go on with all that?
I'm sick of the whole, and it's like, the more you look into it, like, there's so many in, like, doctors, teachers, in all these professions, even if it's, I don't know, football coaches, all the places where you would like to think your children are safe.
But there has to be, that's what I'm saying, that's why there have to be some form of accountability. Because, however, if you're in these organisations, right, you need to be vetting and you need to have a system in where this is keeping these kind of people out. But I mean, don't get me wrong, these people are very clever and they're very manipulative and they're very, I can't think of a word for it right now, but what I'm trying to say is, like
calculated.
You said, yes.
Manipulative, deceitful.
Yeah, and
cold, blank, empty. You know.
So what they first and foremost do, right? They use empathy and sympathy, and then they see, like where they can get your attention, and then they use it, and then from that they just keep going. But that's why I say it is so important for us to teach our children about what is allowed and what is not allowed when it comes to their bodies from a very, very young, early age, and them to speak from a very, very young age. And I feel that as young as 3 years old, from they can speak fluently, that is something that needs to be taught.
Yeah. And I mean, they don't teach anything like this in school, do they?
I feel
do they?
Not really.
School is just school, in my opinion. This is what should be taught in the home. School can't do everything to teach everything. I feel that good teaching starts within the home. Sometimes it doesn't happen in the home because, like what you said before, circumstances, depending on the home, depending on the upbringing of that child in the home, could be in a very dysfunctional home, and parents could be drug abusers, all kind of things, and they're not paying no attention because they don't have the capacity or the capability to do that. And that's why I said it takes a way lot more work in terms of like support. So like I said, with single mothers, and even mothers that are in a relationship, it could be an abusive relationship, you just don't know. So that's why I'm saying that every case and every family and every rape victim is very, very different, and we have to understand the circumstances are never ever the same. And if that was the case, then we'd have a way of resolving it by we say, oh, there's a pattern here, but it's never the same. And that's why I said, most of the homework, most of the teaching has got to definitely be with teaching the child and having some form of place or outlet where, if they're not being heard in the home, or they feel that they can go to school or college or wherever it may be, there needs to be something that is non-biased, that they're not going to be judged, that they can express themselves and speak what's happened to them. And maybe we put on the right chat what to do next.
Yeah.
And how to go about it, because they literally could be thinking, I'm not going to have anywhere to live if this comes out, maybe I might have to move home. There's so much like the unknowns. So just people knowing that you're not alone, there's someone there to stand in the gap with you, and maybe a lot
that
more
makes all the difference, doesn't it? Having someone,
definitely.
I'll tell you what would make a difference is for you, all these good-hearted people, to actually start standing up together, so that we don't feel like we're singled out all the time, because that's the other thing. Like, as females, you don't know, any type of man can just turn around and switch on you. We need more good people that we feel safe around. And that's so hard to find, even building trust. Exactly, like when you've been through certain things, your perspective of life is completely different. And in relation to what you said about people that, it could be a teacher, it could be this, it could be that, the correct term is abuse of power.
That's why I also feel that if, say, someone has been down that road and been through certain things in life, I feel that it's very important to get counselling and therapy, and to stay in counselling and therapy as long as it is needed. And it might be needed for the rest of your life, but it's still an outlet, and it's still someone and something that you can go where you can go and talk to. So if you have been a rape victim, or say you have been through somebody molesting you when you was a kid and stuff, I feel that it's important to know that it's never your fault. Never ever blame yourself for something that's happened to you as a child, because as a child you cannot look after yourself, you cannot raise yourself. And again, I would always say it is your guardian who is responsible for your care, and that is the person really should be making sure that these things don't happen to you. So again,
it's down to them
to be accountable as well. What kind of environment are you putting your children into? What kind of people are you just allowing around your children? And if you've got a relationship with your children, then that would never happen.
I think a lot of it comes down to, for some people, insecurity. Like, as a woman, I see plenty of times, like, you know, single moms, oh, I'm going to get back on the dating scene. And that's cool, you know, but to have certain men come back to your house that you don't know who you're ever laying down next to, you know?
It takes a long time to get to know anyone, doesn't it? Even people you
But
think,
that's why I always say to people, right, that when you just start meeting someone, sort of go on dates, go on outings, meet up in a public place, and consecutively and lots and lots and lots of times, and always make someone know that you're going somewhere. And if you're not back, then you know there's a red, there's an amber, there's something not right. Because if something's not in your character, then you know, or say you know you're meeting someone, it's someone you don't know. Let someone know that you're going to meet somebody and where you're looking to go. And if you change plans, phone them, let them know. And you know, I'm expecting to be back at home for XYZ time. If you're not but within you know a few hours outside that box, and you know that person is usually generally a person of their word, then phone and let the police, if you need to, say, you know what, my friend's gone on a date to meet somebody. She hasn't come back yet. I know she's a grown person, but it's kind of out of her character. Because when someone goes missing or something happens to somebody, the police are most likely to be able to track and find that person safely within the first 3 hours. And obviously, as the hours go by, the track and the tracking and finding that person gets slimmer and slimmer, because the trail gets colder and colder, and the perpetrator can travel further and further away, and even change vehicles and all sorts and all kind of things. I don't know how the money these people think, but you know, to what I've seen in media and things that I've heard, they'll go through all kinds of lengths. I mean, look at the recent one with the policeman murdering that young lady in London. I mean, that's just absolutely despicable.
I know.
And these are the people that are here to serve and protect the public. And if officers can do that, then just imagine what a normal civilian can do.
I know. It's frightening. It really is frightening when you know, think about exactly what we're up against. Yeah. But that was some brilliant advice, though. You know what you're saying there. You know, that you must always let people know where you're going.
Of course, and never, ever, ever feel ashamed about if someone has touched you inappropriately and they weren't supposed to. That's on them. That's not on them. You. That's them. That's a reflection of what the kind of person they are and how they think and what they are. That's never you. So people must never ever think like, have I allowed this? Have I put myself in a predicament for this to happen to me? Well, half of the time the answer is no. And furthermore as well, you know, back in the day I used to hear people were, if you wear certain clothes or you dress a certain way, you're just asking
for it.
Yeah, it's disgusting to think like that. Do you know what I mean? That is absolutely disgusting behaviour. And no woman is never going out asking for anything, because I'm sure she should ask for it, not like somebody forcing themselves on you. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure when you reach to a certain age and you know, again, you know, in these day and ages, there's so many different kind of relationships in terms of, you've got heterosexuals, bisexuals, you know, lesbians, gays. I don't discriminate against any of them, but also it can happen to those kind of people too. It can happen to anybody, anybody. You know, I mean, I've even heard of people who, like, because, you know, like families who may be against opposite sexes and stuff, same-sex relationships and stuff, have purposely raped them, thinking that that will change the way that they're orientated, which I think is absolutely disgusting. And that's like probably one of the worst things that someone can go through, I believe.
That's all. Oh my God.
There's all sorts. I mean, there's just so much out there, and there's just so much things that people are not really aware about. But I think, you know, it's nice that you're brave enough to bring up such a subject, because some people will scorn their nose at it and just think, that subject's a bit too much out there, and
this is something that it's affecting children's lives. You know what I mean? So we tackle anything that's affecting young people's lives, and that's always big on our list. Paedophiles. and the law surrounding them, the easy access they've got to our kids, the social media. But thank you so much today for your input on everything. And going forward, I'm looking forward to working with you, all right? Because we're going to make changes, my darling.
Definitely.
All right? It's about protecting our children. We're doing this for everybody's children.
Sure, I agree.
Because enough is enough, and our children need to be protected. And like you're saying, giving them the information and the, you know, being able to trust that when they tell someone that they will be believed.
Yeah, definitely. If you definitely have to act on it.
Definitely. So I'm gonna, after this podcast today, I'm gonna put some things together. What we're gonna work on going forward.
Sure.
But I'm really, I'm feeling very positive about everything. All right, and you've made, like I said, some brilliant input today. It's been a real pleasure to meet you as well. So thank you for coming on.
We'll have a lot more, topics to talk about and things where we can make some real changes within the community. And
because I think what I'm kind of thinking as well, we could do like a live that is just specifically, you know, like we kind of done tonight, signs to look out for. What we're aiming to do, you know, like, but we'll do one that's just on this.
Definitely.
You know, because we kind of, tonight we started with the 3 young people that lost their lives this week.
That's just, again, I'm telling you, you know.
We kind of came on for a bit of a rant because, heartbroken, devastation, like how many more is this going to happen to? And this was, you know, one of them 12-year-old, like...
Yeah. I feel that that's why we need to be engaging with these students and these young people. We need to be engaging with them and showing them that, you know, you don't just even destroy that person's life that you've taken away. You destroy 2 families, your family, their
communities as well. Our communities are in trauma everywhere.
Definitely, it's a bad trauma, you know. To me, in my opinion, let children be children and let children live as children.
That's what I want, you know, like them to actually have that childhood. They're not getting now.
No,
they can't even go parties.
You know, I mean, I'm a mother of a 13-year-old, and he's like, Mom, it's the norm. And when my son says to me, Mom, that's how it is out there, that's the norm, that is very alarming and very depressing. That now become the normalization of the society where I am bringing up a 13-year-old. And, you know, I'm from Birmingham, and recently one young guy who just got shot in the back, he was 13.
I saw, Birmingham is bad as well. I mean, the whole of the UK. I work on quite a lot of nationwide campaigns.
Right. We have to look at, right, it's like you said, it's not just in one particular area. This thing, or this, what would I say, this genre, or what would you call it, or this spirit that is going around through all of the youths. And again, I feel music has a lot of influence, and you know, there's just so many influences. But again, those same influences that influence these people to do the badness, we can use these platforms to do just as much good. And as it stands, there is a lot of young people out there that are very positive. There's
a lot of young people doing exceptional, great stuff. But then,
and when you really look into the statistics, it's just a few bad, rotten apples in the basket, which doesn't speak for the majority. They're the minority. So we need to oyster those kind of people out. And again, it's about holding people accountable for their actions. And again, looking at the policies that govern around these things and the sentencing.
Yeah, that's something because I don't have definite, you know, answers with, you know, what's the best sentencing or like, but I would like to come to a conclusion So I'm all up for, you know, like talking about that maybe on our next live, to do with coming up with what is something that's a deterrent, something that they will think twice about. Or
so, you know, my granny, when I was growing up, she always used to say to me, prevention is better than the cure. So
yeah.
prevention, we need to put in procedures where we can put in like prevention measures, and again, another outlet to speak to these young people that if you are feeling a certain way, or you're being bullied, or you're in a gang and you want to get out, there is help available there, you know, because a lot of these people are threatened. If you come out the gang, I'm going to go to your mom's house, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, etc., etc. And there's just a whole can of worms in
There's
another
a whole, yeah.
no, but I'm saying there's more than one angle that needs to be addressed. And myself, you know, I know a lot about this stuff. And again, I used to do youth work. I mean, I used to engage with groups, you know. That
I wondered, because you sound very experienced.
Some of it's official, some of it's not. Some of it's official, some of it's non-official. But however, it doesn't really matter. It's all for the good. The good is for the whole and the majority. And
yeah,
one thing I can say for myself is this: a lot of people think, "Oh, I don't care, and I'm not going to be bothered because it's not landing on my doorstep." But a lot of the times, it can land on your doorstep, and when it does land on your doorstep, right, that's when you think, "Oh, maybe I could have done something, and maybe I could have spoke out, and maybe I could have petitioned the parliament to do something about this kind of stuff." But no one's really bothered until it ever lands onto their own doorstep, and then when they feel the reality and see the reality face on and for face value, and you literally seeing this stuff with your eyes every day, then your perception, like you said, becomes very different. A lot of the people that make these policies and put these policies into place are people that are not even functional with normal society, because they're separated. They're amongst people who are, what would you say, more of the affluential. So therefore, they will never know the struggles within areas that are poverty stricken and that are going through poverty. And a lot of the crime, especially with stabbing and killing, boils down to people being not educated and poverty.
Yeah, it's those two, definitely. Yep.
There's so many stem cells to this, but again, like I said, I mean, obviously, behind the scenes, we can work on projects and contact agencies and get statistics and so forth.
Yeah, because statistics, we were talking about that the other day, me and Christella, and we were saying, do you know what? We need statistics. We should be putting up, you know, like even when we're doing these, like to be able to show people. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of work that can be put in place. I mean, I do have some strategies already, and I know that they're proven, and I literally worked as a youth worker for 5 years.
Brilliant. Yeah, I definitely want to hear about all of that.
From the National Lottery, £50,000 we got to run the project with youth and stuff. So, I mean, definitely there's a lot of insight, and I've got a lot of experience, like you said, that I can always put forward to yourselves.
Yeah, because I'm about literally, I want to go for the system. I want as like a community of people to get change.
And like you said, and networking up and down the country, because this is not just a one area problem, it's a network, it's a whole globe. I mean, it's the whole of the UK from top to bottom.
Yeah, because I've realised that from around 3 years ago, I coordinated a nationwide campaign called Your City Says No, right, to serious youth violence.
Yes.
We initially got 54 towns and cities, right? But on the actual day, it went down to, I think, 43, right? I was expecting everybody to come out in every area across the whole bloody place. But we got 43, right? And we came out on the same day, same time, and we marched. But nothing happened, right?
No, there's different ways to go about it. But again, we can definitely look into this. And again, it's not going to be a one-day talk. This is going to be something that's going to take like considerable amounts of time and a lot of effort. But at the end of the day, if it means saving lives and it means that people can break down post-core walls and barriers, then that's even better. You know,
I'm involved. There's a lady. She's an independent MP. and she's starting the first, it's called a peace treaty with the London gangs.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so big up to her for actually attempting it, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so I'm going to be working with her, like, around the table.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, because that's always been a solution that I've looked at. But I just don't know how to organise that. I know in Birmingham they've attempted it, haven't they?
Yeah, and it does work. That's what I mean. Like, I've seen it firsthand, it does work. But however, you can't just start a project and then finish it and then think it's just going to be okay, because these problems are ongoing. So therefore, the projects need to stay ongoing. It's all right initiating the work and putting in the work, and then when funding runs out, then where does the, you know, when the charity funding runs out, how do you still work with the next up and coming gang and the next up and coming groups?
Yeah, thank you for saying that to me, because obviously I'm going to make sure I mention stuff like that. They better keep all fun. Yeah, no matter what anyone's doing, that they make sure the funding's in place still, even when that project's finished. Because
because one gang disappears, another one comes up,
and we've got loads of little gangs all over. Like a guy who came on a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned earlier, Stephen Graham. He's been working with Chicago gangs. He was getting flown over there, working with their gangs. He was in a gang here. I think he ended up in prison in Jamaica. I just read his book about being incarcerated. Yeah, in JA. Oh my God. Yeah, but he came out of prison. He got his degree, his master's. He's done loads of documentaries. Oh my goodness. All like in Israel and stuff like that, all to do with Israelites. It's very interesting. Like, my God. But yeah, so he apparently attempted the first gang truce here many years ago with the heads of gangs. But I need to, I want to speak to him a bit more.
So maybe it's something that you can touch back base with and find out, you know, like, okay, again, looking at statistics, how do you think the groups is working, and how do you think that how you can put that infrastructure in, like, now, today? How does that work, like, now, today?
Yeah, because I'm meeting up with him soon.
What improvements can you see that needs to be put in place? So basically doing a comparison, crime rates then and what was happening then, and how these interactions, how it helps people, how did those people who engage, how have they turned out? Do we need more of it? What more do we need to put in place, or how better can we put things in place?
Yeah.
So revising it. That's what I mean. So you can have the measures there, but again, you know, everything you have to revisit and revise at some point, because even with medicine, any subject you're in, things change, people learn new things, and we're always evolving. So what I'm trying to say is, in terms of work can always be evolved.
Yes, yeah. And it is, I think it is all evolving, isn't it? No matter what.
Definitely. You've got to keep up with the times. And keep it current.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I will, when I speak to him, when I meet up with him, they're the sort of things I'll be asking him.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, don't feel frightened to touch base with me and ask me anything. I'm always here.
I'm definitely going to be in touch. Don't worry about that. It's been an absolute pleasure to get you on.
Same,
like I said, you just, and I just know you know what you're talking about. The voice of experience. And going forward, I'd love you to get involved with a lot of stuff that we're doing. And anything you can think of as well, always get in touch. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working alongside you, my darling.
Same, definitely. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh, bless you.
We'll definitely touch base at some point. You take care now.
All right, and thank you for everything. All right, enough love, my darling.
You too.
All right, take care.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, what an amazing lady. What a fantastic podcast this evening. Big up to everyone who has taken part, everybody who's passed through today. If you're not already following us up, it's Let the Youth Live on every platform. The website www.letstheyouthlive.com. We're all about solutions. Please add us up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Please check out our YouTube channel. And any problems at all you need help with or anything, please always message us, all right? Direct message us. Have a blessed rest of your evening, people, all right? Okay, and I will catch up with you all soon. All right, enough love.